Hi, alrighty guys, it's Amanda. I'm back for another video. Sorry I look a mess. This video was not planned. I had initially stated in my first video I ever filmed that I probably wouldn't do commentary videos, but it was something that I wasn't opposed to doing. However, if you are on Twitter or Instagram or even YouTube, you may have seen the Myka and James, I believe their last name is Stauffer, maybe pronouncing that incorrectly, and what they are going through as a family. For someone who has been in foster care and has been adopted, I just kind of wanted to bring some more awareness to this type of situation that occurs and kind of discuss it with you guys. I'm going to try my best to not be unprofessional or get emotional, and try not to be too invested, and make sure that my points come across as I want them to. So this probably won't be very long. However, I did just watch their video after seeing multiple people tweet about it, and kind of looked into what their story and their journey has been. All too often when children are adopted, whether it is with special needs or from a foreign country or not, there's always going to be information that's unknown. There's still information about myself and my medical background that is unknown because I was adopted. And even when you're in foster care in the United States and you're getting care and you're getting medical treatment, it doesn't always mean that your needs are getting met as they should be as a child. Of course, the states always try their best to make sure that these children are provided for adequately and are being tended to. However, that's not always the case. So it was very frustrating to me to hear them try and rely on they didn't know what they were getting themselves into with adopting this child. Well, adopting any child, you really don't know what you're getting. You never fully know the aspects or the personality of the child that you are potentially going to be adopting. And that was a huge part for me that was frustrating. Another part solely is that they wouldn't have the ability, if it was their biological child, to go through this. Of course, there are ways, if you have inabilities to care for your children, things to take in place, but I can't help but come from the stance of, if this was their biological child, would they be going through the process to relinquish their parental rights? I don't know these people. I can't say for sure if they would do that or not, but I would highly doubt that this would be something they would consider if it was their birth child, which is frustrating, especially as an adopted child myself. I can't imagine the ability and how vain these people appeared in their video. I understand their grief, I do, but they even said it was a choice, and that's exactly it. It was a choice for them to go through and go back to the agency and say, you know, this is just too much for me to handle. I don't think I can do it, and relinquish their adoptive rights. However, as I said in the beginning, that does happen. It happens quite frequently, and people are not aware because the foster care system and the adoption process is not spoken about enough. And what these children go through is not spoken about enough, which is why I was so eager to start my channel, because I wanted to bring awareness to what the children go through, what they feel, the kind of things that they are facing. Because if you're not in that situation, you don't know. If you don't know somebody who has gone through it, you don't know. And that's even if that individual is willing to share their exact story, which is why I wanted to empower children who are in the system, foster parents, adoptive parents. However, in this situation, I am beyond aggravated. with good reason, as it seems most people are. And I'm not trying to just target this family in particular. It's just this is a family that was willing to expose their journey online, just as I am. It's just unfortunate that they have come to the conclusion and the decision that they obviously have, which there are plenty of resources for adoptive parents to assist them in caring for children who have any additional need that a quote-unquote normal child may not need. So no matter what field they had exhausted, to me it's not enough. And that's probably personal bias, and I'm not gonna lie about that. It probably is. This whole situation is extremely invigorating to me. So beyond that, I also want to point out they continued to reiterate that they wanted to keep his privacy, to make sure that his information isn't out there. Well, one, they've already done that when they went through the adoption and they talked about their story, and that's fine by them. They're bound to legal proceedings at this point, I promise you, so I get why they can't talk about it. What they are not realizing is they have sent this child back to foster care to some extent. This child is going back into either U.S. state care or back to the country that this child originated from. And that's just crazy because they're not thinking of the ramifications that alone is going to have on that child. That child has grown to know these two people as their parents permanently through adoption. Although he's young and doesn't understand what that is, he understands mom and dad. So he is going to be further traumatized, no matter what his medical needs are, he is going to be further traumatized alone by being removed from people who he thought were his parents. And who knows what kind of things are going to happen to him in foster care, or how long he is going to be in foster care. It is statistically known children with needs are harder to adopt out, just as older children are harder to adopt out. People, when they go to adopt, most often than not, of course there are people outside of that situation. My parents in particular, I was not adopted until I was 10 years old, which is an older age. Families, when they find out they are unable to have their own children or are just lovely people and want to give back and want to adopt and make the world better and get children out of poor situations, they take on the commitment. And that's what's frustrating to me. When I was in foster care, and I haven't gotten to this part in my story, I covered one part. There were several homes that I was in for long periods of time and was under the impression of being adopted, and that never happened until I was older. And it was devastating to me. It was absolutely devastating to me in every sense of the word. And it took years, and I literally mean years, for my adoptive family to help me regain self-confidence and to know that I am worthy of love. I don't mean to be pessimist about it. I just want to really just bring awareness to everyone who is starting in on this family. Although I don't agree with their decision, we will never know exactly what transpired for them to all of a sudden feel that they could not handle him or that they could not care for him appropriately. I'm not going to try and delve into their side. I don't know what they are facing. They were obviously upset in the video. They appeared to be genuine, but just from someone who has been in the system, I couldn't help but to shed some light, take the opportunity, so to speak, to, while this is kind of being circulated in a bigger realm, to take the time to sit down, obviously not in any condition of wanting to film. I have recently gotten off work, but just to take the time to bring some awareness to not everything is as it seems. If you are a potential adoptive parent, keep in mind, you never know what you're gonna get. You don't. Until you have that child in your home for several years, you never know what exact personality they're going to have, what traits they're going to have. Are they going to develop any medical issues? You may be aware of some initially, or some underlying issues that already exist within the child, but you never fully know what you are adopting. And that is just the reality. I know to adopt, it's different in each state, but it is a long process. It is a super long process, and they try to educate the parents as best as they can to be prepared to face anything they may face. And these two individuals by no means had to have gone through that as well. And it's just mind-boggling that if they had the intention to try and help a child, and then the child in this particular situation had more medical issues, and it was hard for them to feel they would be able to care for him appropriately, is asinine in my opinion. They would have had plenty of tools and tricks. Of course, I never mean, there is a flip side of the coin that people could argue that, you know, if they could resent the child, they could, you know, neglect the child to some extent, which is a possibility, but that is a possibility in every household that has a child. It really is. And they, like I said, they would have had the education going into this adoption before any legal proceedings had taken place to make it official. They would have had some knowledge of what things were available to them. And they stated they saw multiple medical providers while tending to his needs and trying to get him assessed. They would have also provided multiple resources for this family. So I'm sorry if I'm ranting. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. This is a topic that I strongly feel about. And I just can't help but provide my 2 cents. I didn't really watch any other videos of this family. I don't know their dynamic. I don't know anything like that. I'm not going to try and say I do. I'm just speaking on this particular situation. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I know there's opposing arguments in every sense of the way, and I am open to hearing those. If you would like to leave them down in the comments, you can. I'm not going to allow any type of vicious comments or arguing to occur, but if it is a healthy debate, by all means, I encourage that. It can open other sides that some people, even including myself, since I am biased, into maybe thinking of things in a different way. But I am sorry that this is such an abrupt video. I'm sorry if I come off a little aggressive, but I feel very passionately about this. If you're new to this channel, I am primarily focusing this on telling my foster care and adoption story and throughout my life and different aspects of it to bring awareness to situations such as this. So if you're interested in that kind of content, you can go ahead and like and subscribe. I do also do some random other filler videos. I'm new to YouTube, so my videos are not the best quality. I'm still working on figuring all of that out. But I appreciate your time today. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, that you are having a good day. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you.